welcome.
All right, all right. So we are, welcome to Sorta Hi-Fi. Carlo
Mm.
Lorazzo, editor in chief at Home Theater Secrets, or Secrets of Home Theater and High Fidelity.
High Fidelity.
I really should get the name right at some point. And
Yeah,
I'm Taps, and welcome back to Sorta Hi-Fi. It's been a minute, Carlo.
yeah, it has been a little while. I think between the two of us, we've just been you just busy with stuff. I mean, I know
Oh yeah.
you've been pretty crazy.
Well, I
With
mean, it's getting back to a sense of normalcy for a little bit. Like,
Mhm.
I'm a full time designer by trade, and I'm not gonna lie, the last year has been rough. So,
Yeah, I can understand that.
and so it's picked up a little bit. So it's been a bit easier. But when it picks up, it's kind of when it rains it pours sort of thing. So,
Yeah, it's usually feast or
um,
famine in the creative fields. Yeah, I hear you.
yeah. So I was feasting for a while, but it
That's
meant
all right.
it was difficult to pull one of these off in regular time, which is unfortunate because we've missed a lot of stuff.
There has been a few things. Yeah. Lots of stuff has been happening. The whole the whole Harman thing where they bought all the former Sound United assets that Massimo owned for fire sale prices, which was
Do you have a
interesting.
bit of insight on that at all, or like,
Well, just in general, I mean, Massimo they made no bones about after they, sort of ditched the original CEO and the board kind of did its sort of takeover thing. They kind of made no bones about the fact that they felt like the whole buying of Sound United was ill advised and they wanted to, be done with it. They wanted to just get rid of it. And by the sounds of what I'd heard, they weren't interested in kind of spinning it off piecemeal, like brand by brand. They wanted someone to take the whole enchilada off their hands. Um, and when you have that many brands, I mean, you have Denon, Marantz, Polk, Definitive Technologies, Boston Acoustics, Class A, but they're not really alive anymore.
yeah,
Um, you know,
Bowers and Wilkins?
Bowers and Wilkins. Yes, I couldn't surprised to miss that Bowers and Wilkins, right? Which is a huge one. That's when you want to get rid of all of them en masse, or just sell all of them en masse. It sort of limits who the your sort of pool of buyers is because that's a lot of stuff. And um, they paid like a chunk of money. Massimo did when they bought those brands. I forget the exact price, but it was an astronomical amount of money, which was one of the problems. Uh, so, uh, yeah, I mean, Harman was probably one of the only companies who could really who really had the clout and the money to just to kind of take them. And they bought them for like all of them for like 350 million,
Oh my
which
god!
is peanuts. I mean that's nowhere near what Massimo paid for those brands when they bought Sound United. So yeah, it's like it was almost like Harman would have been silly not to buy them because it's like it's a fire sale, and
Yeah,
they just got themselves a whole load of brands, and there's there's been a lot of discussion as to what their strategy is going to be and whether is Harman going to continue all these brands as they are? Are they going to you know do a little
merge.
merging, a little creative weeding, sort of get rid of some things and push other ones. Um, that's yeah, it's too early to tell. There's still a whole bunch of regulatory stuff that has to be taken care of. So the whole if all the approvals go without issue, it's going to be at least till the end of the year before the whole deal is finalized. So, there's still another 6 months before it gets all sorted out and made official.
I wonder
Um,
if there's going to be like a culling of the herd as far as some of their product lineups. Like, I'll just take Marantz
yeah,
for example. Like, I love their stuff, but like they have so many products. I wonder if it'll be streamlined a little bit more, or if they'll just let them kind of run as is.
that's the question. That's the question. I mean, Marantz and Denon. I mean, those brands have kind of
They're the same.
kind of, but I mean, they have they've tried to differentiate them a little bit, um, and I think over the last few years they've sort of had a bit of I don't want to say resurgence, but they've kind of ramped up a little bit as opposed to when the uh, who was it the actually the Silicon Valley Bros owned BMW, Bowers and Wilkins, and Rotel. They didn't. I don't know that they own Denon Marantz, but anyway, they've kind of had a bit of a resurgence. So I'd be surprised. Personally, I'd be surprised if Harman messed with them too much. And honestly, I think a lot of this has to do. I don't know if how much you know about Harman, but hi-fi audio is not the biggest part of their business anymore. Like automotive audio is like where like a huge chunk of their business comes from. I mean, they have licensing deals with so many brands, Bowers and Wilkins included, to put their sound systems and help develop and work their sound systems to go in, like, General Motors, Toyota, Lexus, whoever. I mean, they have huge licensing deals. That's where a ton of their revenue comes from. So I think a large part of this was to have, that have the physical attachment to the brands now. So it's not just a licensing scheme anymore for their automotive end. I think that's got a lot to do with it. But again, it remains to be seen. Harman, I have mixed feelings about Harman just because, they do some decent stuff with a bunch of their brands. Other brands they've had in the past have just sort of withered and gone, so who knows? Who knows at this point? So it'll be interesting to see what transpires. It's anybody's guess. But the biggest thing is, I mean, they got those brands for essentially pennies on the dollar, so.
I mean, they could grow them even bigger. So
they could. I mean, yeah. I mean, they have Samsung's backing behind them, so obviously Samsung owns Harman, so they could. It's anybody's guess at the moment. Yeah. So
it's
it'll
curious,
be interesting. It is, but
I'm
it's
not
like
too much of an insider in that way. Like everything's kind of surface level to me, and it's easier to enjoy a hobby versus knowing the ins and outs of everything.
Yeah. You start when you start getting into the weeds a little bit, and you kind of start peeling back the onion. It's like sometimes what goes on behind the scenes is not the most pleasant, or it's kind of like icky.
Yeah, do I need to know all of that?
Yeah. Not that there's anything really icky about it, but it's just weird. And I know a lot of people are talking about, oh my gosh, is this a monopoly? Is it a giant, converging of, is it going to make hi-fi less diverse? This is like all this other stuff. Who knows at this point? Who really knows? I mean,
but also, there's so many other manufacturers out there still.
Oh yeah.
And because our demo is, I guess, aging, and there, there's that almost that divide where, I mean, you've probably seen it too, where I get like an Elac product in or something like that, and it's kind of great, right? Unless you decide you want to nitpick or hate it because it's not Class A, and then those are the weeds that like people can run into if they want to.
Yeah,
right?
but I think that's more like those are very different ends of the market, obviously. So,
but it's the same space, though. And that's the difference, I guess. Like the high end is the high end,
right?
But that's such a small segment of things. And then you said automotive is another one, and that's
right.
I mean, people that buy their cars aren't buying it for the sound system. Right?
No,
it's nice if there is one in there, but
no, they're not. But I mean, that's not the primary reason. But I mean, yeah, it's big money. I mean, it is really big money. So,
I would probably get a Volvo if I could afford one, just for the Bowers and Wilkins sound system. It looks awesome.
Oh yeah. I'd love it, Matt.
I really don't like the way that car looks. It's such an ugly car.
Oh yeah, I mean, my dream would be like to have a nice little Aston Martin in my driveway with like a Bang & Olufsen sound system. Hey, why not? But that ain't happening anytime soon.
I mean, after our pod with Jan, I want one of those Morgan cars because I started following them on Instagram.
Right.
Those look incredible. I want one of those now. I don't know what I'd do with it. Like, you can't even go grocery shopping in that thing.
No, not at all. It's like, jeez, just put a scarf on, let it blow in the wind while you're like driving around or whatever. Yeah. Very tweed
just
cap.
open up my shirt. Put some fake chest hair in.
Yeah, that's right. Scare the locals. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't grow. I have 3 chest hairs and they're all gray. So
okay.
I actually plucked them out the other day. I was like, "This is embarrassing."
All right. Well, now that we know you're clean shaven, that's good. That's all right.
Well, it's not by choice. It's clean plucked. It's like 3 clean chest hairs. Yeah, 3 chest hairs, 2 nipple hairs. There's not a lot there's not a lot of hair.
That's good. All right. Now we got that straight.
Yeah.
Oh,
you got a talent in you, so it's probably just a jungle. So.
No, actually, if I'm being honest, no, I don't. I could barely grow a beard. Never mind, chest hair. Never
So
was.
Are we like the outcasts of our race? Because I'm Indian, so like I should be head to toe in a sweater.
You should be a walking carpet. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But possibly. I don't know. But arm and leg hair, I'm totally like bloated down for bear. But chest hair, no, not really. So it just is what it is. You got me. But anyhow.
Anyway.
So the Harman thing was a big thing, and a lot of people were talking about it. Because I just got back from the Munich High End show, so a lot of people were talking about that. And
how was that?
That was good. I can hear the
well, because it's no longer at Munich, so now I've always wanted to go to Munich, but now I'm just like, okay, I want to go still, but one of the reasons to go or an excuse to go,
right, right,
and potential coverage of.
It's going to be in Vienna, Austria next year. So
I haven't been there either.
Not me neither. So this it could be very interesting. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
And I was just going to say, there's some pretty people there too. So.
Supposedly very pretty people there, and the beer is still good, so that's always nice. But yeah, the whole tariff thing and the whole Harman thing was a lot of the discussion, at Munich and all that. But since this was the last Munich show that had a sort of a vibe of being slightly kind of bigger and kind of go out with a bang sort of deal. So no, it was great. It was a really, really good show, well attended. That show is like the first couple of days are press and industry only, and then the next 2 days are open to the public. So it's kind of a nice combination between industry and consumer.
Okay.
But yeah, it's funny because the vibe at Munich, and actually kind of in Europe in general, it's like when you go to a North American show, you kind of it feels like this is a hobby for weird people. It's like audiophiles are sort of a really obsessive bunch, and so I don't know about you, but like I'm surrounded by normal people here in Ohio, and when they find out that you're into like hi-fi to the level that we are, they kind of look at you sort of like with this sense of puzzlement and everything.
We're like stamp collectors.
Kinda, yeah. It's very niche and very like, oh, that's interesting. That sort of deal, right? In Europe, it's a whole different thing because it's kind of like I think it's looked. I don't know whether it's because they take music more seriously or whatever, but hi-fi is looked more upon as kind of like a normal pastime sort of deal, and that's kind of, and you get that it's more that there's more of a sense of acceptance over there. Like it's like, yeah, this is a thing people are into. Yeah, it's a thing people are into. They dig it, and it's like, yeah, this is cool. So yeah, it's that's sort of the biggest difference in terms of feeling of going to like Munich or a show in Europe versus kind of here in North America. At least that's what I find.
I wonder why that is. I guess besides it's just more accepted, or
I think so. I think it's just
maybe just answered that. I guess.
Yeah, I think it's not looked upon as like you're a nerd.
Nerd.
You're
Yeah.
or whatever or
It's like telling people
fringy.
you went to Comic-Con back in the day.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you would just
Yeah,
hide it because you don't
kind
want to
of. Yeah,
be.
it's like
Yeah.
you went to a Star Trek convention or something, and people were like, "Okay,
Well, I would
oh,
look. I
okay."
would judge. I would judge you. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
hard judge you on that one.
yeah. Well, going to Catholic school, everyone would judge me. It's like, no. So anyway, but yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff at Munich. A few things kind of really sort of stood out, I think, for the most part.
Such as.
Such as, this may not be a huge deal to a lot of people, but um, I love Michi stuff. Love
Mm,
Michi stuff. And they had their new, it's like a Q5 CD player.
yeah.
Craig just did a review of the thing, and I hadn't seen it in person before, but it's like the biggest, baddest ass CD player that's not like some of the other batshit things out there that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. This thing is just like it's built like a fortress. And I used to have like one of the Sony ES players, one of their high end ones, and it had
Mhm.
like an actual. When the tray came out, it had like an actual clamp that went on the CD when you put it in the tray. So like a
Yeah.
weighted clamp and stuff. And just I always dug that. It just had a little extra sense of theater and like class and stuff to it. This thing has this huge illuminated clamp that goes on top of the CD, and it's just it's just so cool looking. I mean, it just feels like nobody's business, and it's a pleasure to use the thing.
Can I ask a question? With
Yeah, yeah.
higher end CD players, are they better equipped to play a CD that might be slightly scuffed, or is it worse?
Uh, I don't think there's any expectation. It should be better. Let's put it that way. Um, but I think that's all to do with sort of the way the error corrections programmed with the transport and the chips and stuff. Theoretically, I mean, if the disk is like more stable as it spins, um, esoteric and Pioneer used to do this with some of their stuff where they would have like a full sized um, kind of clamp that was the exact size of the diameter of the disc, and they would clamp the disc against it from the top and the laser at it from the bottom to keep it from like the disc from like wobbling back and forth, because usually it's just sort of they're just sort of clamped from the center, like that sort
Yeah.
of the center around the spindle. um, that theoretically is supposed to help, um, but I don't know that there's any hard fast rule that the more money you pay for a CD player, the better it is their correction. You would hope it is, but I don't think there's any hard fast rule. Um, but it's just surprising because for the longest time everyone was saying that CDs, physical media, are dead because of streaming and stuff, and now we're sort of starting to see a resurgence a little bit of CD players, especially sort of on the inexpensive side.
Hmm.
So the fact that Michi would come out with this, I forget how much the price is, but it's like maybe $6,000-7,000, something like that. I mean, but this thing is it's like
Is
the
it
last
also a
CD player.
streamer, or is it just a CD player?
It's just a CD player. You could use it as a DAC if you want, but it's just the baddest ass looking thing I've ever seen. I think it's very very cool. And it's got the whole Michi aesthetic and everything, and it's just
It's 7 grand, Jesus.
yeah. I know. It's up there, but I mean there are some of the crazy brands out there that will charge 2 and 3 times more for like some high end disc player. So I mean in that respect,
I wonder what the thinking is. I have no idea about the product, like because it has DAX in it
right.
and all that. But like, I imagine some of the Michi amplifiers also have all that stuff in it, right?
The integrateds have like DACs built in, so I mean you could take. I mean I was talking to Craig about this during his review. I mean he used to have like this Yamaha CD player that he really loved, and he has. I think he had one of the integrateds in for review, or if he had the preamp, and I forget. But there's a DAC built into it, so you could digital out from whatever disc player you're using into it, and it'll work just fine, and I'm sure it'll sound superb. This is just like if you're a completist and you want to,
Mm.
a full on Michi system. Um, it's a pretty cool player. I mean,
I'm still waiting to get a hold of one of the Michi amplifiers myself.
well,
I am bugging them.
hmm
So hopefully I'll get one of those in.
that would be
So
cool if you could. Yeah. We might need to talk about this whole China thing with Rotel. You got my email, right?
I did, yes.
Okay, so that it looks like it's starting to turn into a real thing, but we could talk about more about that later.
We're going to China.
Maybe
Maybe
if they let
anyone
us
that's
in.
political might hate us, but whatever.
Yeah,
Ignore
we'll
that.
see.
Yeah.
You know,
I can't wait. I'm excited for that one.
they'll
Do
let
we
us
have to take
in.
like?
Hopefully, they'll let us out. We'll see.
Oh yeah, it's,
Yeah,
just avoid social media, I guess, right?
yeah,
When you're
totally.
there,
Yeah, it's
no
gonna be
Tinder,
no,
no,
no. It's gonna be very
no,
quiet from me
no,
and
no,
Taps while
no,
we're over there.
no PH for the listeners that know what that is.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, no. None of that stuff. None of that stuff. Oh man. Well, anyway, uh, some
maybe
other
I'll find
cool.
a new wife.
Well, I think you're supposed to get that started beforehand, and then go over there, and then bring them back or whatever.
Isn't
But
there a thing there where you could like marry someone and then bring them here and get paid for it? I'm just saying.
there used to be. I don't know if that's still a thing. I have no idea, but um, that's you
To,
can you can see about that on your own.
if anyone over there's listening, just hit up your boy. I need to cover a mortgage at some point.
Oh my god! Yeah. No, they're not going to let us back. They're not going to let us out. Oh man. Um. Anyhow, who else? Advanced Paris was showing their new line. Um, they're introducing like a higher line of stuff called the Nova collection, and
Oh my god.
it just looked beautiful. I mean, really, really pretty. Kind of step up in aesthetics and also some engineering and stuff from their current. They still have the big
Does it
DU
look
meters.
better than their new stuff? Than their current stuff?
I think it does. Check out there are pictures of it in the Munich coverage. You could see, and they have a nice little remote that's kind of like a one. It's like, almost like a just kind of like this rechargeable round knob thing that controls input and volume. It was very cool. I mean, I thought it looked very nice, and but I think the quality of the aesthetics was a step up from what they normally from their classic line. I think they call it. So
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
looks
did
a
you
bit
find it?
nicer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. The bottom strip kind of looks like Roxanne's amplification.
Yeah. You
Is
could
that
say that.
bottom black strip? Yeah.
Yeah. You could definitely say that.
This does look so. Maybe a spoiler alert. So I'm doing the Advanced Paris My Connect review for you
Mm-hmm.
guys.
Yeah.
So that product sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing bad to say across the board on sound.
Mm-hmm.
Aesthetically, I'm not a fan.
Right. It's not your cup of tea, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I can't it sounds so good, and I just don't want it on my media unit anymore. Just,
You have to put it behind behind the
after you put
cover
but
or
it's
whatever.
so big that
Right.
you can't hide it,
It's
and it gets really like you could fry an egg on it. It gets really warm, but
right.
but sound wise, sonically, it's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It has, I always harp on a product for not having a certain input or home theater bypass or tone control. It's got all
It's
of
got
that.
everything
It's
and then
got
some. Yeah.
it's got 3 sets of speaker outputs like A, B, and C. It's got
I
bass
know.
management, everything you could possibly want in a product. This has, except
It just doesn't. You just don't like
it
the looks of
looks, yeah.
it. That's a thing with them, and I think I mean I've heard from a bunch of people who are you either love or hate the way their current stuff looks.
Yeah.
And I've run into like about a 50-50 split both ways. Uh, this new Nova line, I think, is going to be like a step up. It's not. I don't think it's the price difference is going to be ridiculous from what they were telling me about some of the they were quoting prices in euros, and I don't think it's going to be like a huge jump up price wise, but it's definitely a step up. But like I said, there's improvements in some of the engineering and some of the circuit design and stuff like that. But yeah, the visuals I think are definitely meant to kind of elevate a little bit and address kind of that group of folks who are like, they don't like the current classic line aesthetic. So I think
Yeah,
this is going to help.
the best way I can maybe say it, because I haven't actually formally written my review, I kind of just formed it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like if you made a Macintosh competitor, but instead of a designer, you hired an engineer to design it. That's kind of what it looks like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's it. And I think that one of the things they don't like, but that they get a lot of, is that um, the visuals of are they're compared to Macintosh. They say, they're the French Macintosh or whatever, and I think it kind of ruffles their feathers a little bit. That's not the intent,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it's just the
There's
VU
so many
meters.
similarities.
It's just the VU
Well, it's the
meters. I mean,
VU meters. It's the shiny black front face.
right,
It's
right,
like
right,
the old school Advanced Paris logo, which is
right,
nice. But
right.
then the thing they do differently is the My Connect that's written is just
Mm.
myriad or something. It's
Yeah,
like some random type. Like there's no uniformity in it,
right,
you know.
right, right, right. Yeah,
And I think it wouldn't take much to just aesthetically just switch over some things. Which I
right.
mean, it looks like they went a completely different way,
Hmm.
but you know.
Yeah.
I
No,
might do a mock up of like what it could potentially
what
look
it
like.
could look like if
Yeah,
you did this. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And talking to the Cedric and I think it was Juliet from Advanced Paris when I was there. Super nice people. Really, really cool people. And so they take input. Actually, they actually like hearing input and stuff like that. So, um, but so yeah, I mean, if you had something to say or suggestions, I think they would. I mean, they would take it seriously.
There is a big one actually. This is going to be in the review. Is along with aesthetics is just from a designer's point of view. I'm just prefacing this all.
Hmm.
You guys need a better manual. The manual is brutal. So
Mm,
I know it's French first, but that's fine. Like
right.
it's your native language and then English. But as a user, I was like, what am I doing here? Like I don't
Mm,
know how to do this. And
yeah,
so I mean, if you need
that's
one,
legit. That's definitely
I
legit.
do that
Yeah.
by trade. Just hit up your boy and I'll sort you out. But
Pounding the pavement for some work. Yeah, there we go.
yeah, I know. Just yeah,
No,
but
it's a valid point. I mean, I think, and they're not the only ones. I think there's a number of audio manufacturers when I get stuff in for review.
all of them need to call me.
Oh,
All of them, just
I mean,
across
the,
the board.
the
Just call
manual.
me.
You're lucky if you'll find a printed manual at all in anything anymore. And a lot of times, the PDFs that you can get online aren't like any great shakes either. I mean, they're
Yeah,
gone are the days of a properly written manual.
Sonus Faber does it well,
Mm? Yeah.
and Cambridge Audio does it really well,
Mm-hmm.
and Bowers and Wilkins used to. I haven't. I
Mm.
think no. Do they just have like one manual for all the lineup? I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
what they do. It's like if it's like for speaker series for the 600 series, it's like
I
if you
know for
have
the
these three speakers, then
I've reviewed a couple of things in the 800 series, and they have a legit proper manual that's well defined and very detailed. I think Dali also does really good with their manuals. I think I've gotten a
yeah,
couple
they're pretty good with it.
when I've gotten a couple of their speakers in, they've had good solid instructionals for their speaker manuals. But I mean, writing for a speaker manual and writing for something like the My Connect, which has got connections and possibilities and whatever out the wazoo. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a different fish, but still,
But
it needs a good detailed manual for something that's got that many options in it. Yeah, no question about it. Yeah,
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 I'll
yeah.
happily design instruction manuals for the rest of my life. It'll be
Oh,
the best thing ever. Uh,
there,
so you know,
there's a potential industry in that because I
yeah,
mean people need help and it's probably one of the least favorite things for some people some manufacturers to do. So yeah, yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah. Hit up your boy. But
Yeah,
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 that's that was one that was.
hmm,
It's such a great amplifier.
yeah,
Outside
yeah.
of that,
Hmm. I
there's a
hear you.
few small things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, moving on to some of the other stuff in Munich. Actually, going back to Harman, uh, this is going to be interesting. They released, yeah, they released like three new high end speakers in this line they called the Summit line. They're sort of they're horn based compression drivers, and then they're kind of they kind of have a heritage with sort of like some of their pro designs, but these are done up really nicely and like I don't know, really pretty ebony veneer and stuff, and they had all the sort of high-end bells and whistles on them. There was a bookshelf, not I didn't say bookshelf, stand mount because it's too big to be a bookshelf, and then 2 tower speakers. They're named after mountains in the Himalayas, I think. One of them is called the let's see. The 2-way is called the stand mount is called the Ama. The smaller 3-way is called the Pumori, and then the larger 3-way is called the Makalu. Anyway, they basically had it was a huge introduction. They basically had this big song and dance at the press event, and it was the speakers themselves were neat. I got the chance to listen to them, and it was like, I think these in a proper room, these could sound really good. At Munich, it's kind of hard to judge because the rooms are not great sound wise. But the presentation, it really got on my nerves. As a matter of fact, I hated it. And I like the guys at Harman. I mean, I get along with them and everything, but this presentation, this press event was like towards the end of the day. The room was packed full of people. It was a big room and it was packed full of people. It was sweltering in there. It's like they had turned the AC off or something, or they had like drastically reduced it for whatever energy saving reasons. And it was just sweltering hot in there. And the presentation basically involved them introducing this dude who was, I guess, a experienced and well-known mountain climber, I guess, who had climbed like Everest or like the Himalayas and stuff. And he was basically going on and on about what it takes to climb a mountain and what you have to do to the trials and tribulations of doing it, and leadership and all this other stuff. And they were trying to relate it to this set of speakers because they were named after mountains, and it's like, but there was no technical nothing about the development of the speakers, this, that. There was just this perfectly nice dude talking about leadership and what it takes to surmount the odds and all this other stuff.
Didn't he
and
just read the room? Like, you're talking to a bunch of old fat guys. Like,
well, yeah, but it was just kind of like the Harman guys were like introduced him and they were talking to him and blah blah blah, and it was like I was looking at this, I'm like going, I mean, what? It was like it was more talking about what Harman thinks about about their than anything anyone else wanted to know, and it was like, this is just nuts. So it was
Did
like,
they play Ain't No Mountain High Enough as well?
I wish they would have. It would have actually made things, lighten things up a little bit. But man, it was it was frustrating as all hell. I mean, I wanted out so bad because it was like, this is not fun. Are we gonna have to
do our own hi-fi show at some point, just to?
That if we could get backers, we might. I mean, that'd be the thing. We could actually probably do a pretty good one. But it was painful to be in there. I mean, the speakers themselves were lovely, but it was just the introduction of them, the launch of them was painful. And if that wasn't bad enough, they had launched Mark Levinson, which is also owned by Harman, had a bunch of new, I think a new integrated, a couple on mono amp and something else, a streamer, I think, which they launched there. And I just was like, I wasn't a fan of the design of them. I thought the mono amp looked like a humidifier. I mean, it was just like, it was not. I just talked about the Michi stuff, right? And what the thing that Michi gets right is the tactile, is you have to, I mean, it's a piece of hi-fi equipment. Besides listening to it, you have to interact with it, right? And they are perfect with the touch points of like the product. When you touch it, you feel the surfaces feel impeccable. It's like, this feels like it's worth what I paid for it, if not
Yes.
more. You know, I mean, I did not get that impression at all from like touching and like interacting with this Mark Levinson stuff. It could sound, I'm sure it sounds lovely, but I mean, something as simple as, besides just the visuals, the stuff, the surfaces didn't. I mean, the corners felt really sharp. They didn't feel like it was polished. The binding posts, I think, were the things that was like turned me off the most. Not the shape of them or anything like that, which I get why they're shaped the way they are, to cinch them down. But as soon as I touched them and I turned them, they were like loose, and they were like, it felt like the plastic from my like 30-year-old Buzz Lightyear toy.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
it just did it. If that's the first thing, one of the first things you interact with when you like, use a product like that integrated, you cinch down on the, you install your the cables and cinch down and stuff. I mean, that just did. That has to feel like a quality connection. That has to, especially if you're paying that kind of money. And that just did not. It was. It just turned me right off. It just turned me right off. That red plastic just felt like it was something that was ripped off a toy, and it was like,
Is
this
that
is not
it's an
good.
American company, Mark
Mark
Levinson?
Levinson is an American company. I don't know that this stuff is actually made
Yeah.
in the U.S. anymore, but I just
Is that like, I hate to generalize because I know Macintosh is American too. But and I like the Macintosh stuff, but I wonder if it's like sometimes like like old American cars have a look, and then you go to like Germany and their cars look, well, they used to look
right.
so much more elevated.
Yeah, none of the
Uh
new BMWs look any good, but that's a different story.
yeah, but in the current age. But
Yeah,
like, you
yeah.
know what I mean? Is that maybe sort of that sort of deal?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen and other Mark
Because then I
Levinson
just
stuff that like older stuff that I thought for its age and time was really nice. This I don't know what happened here, but I just like, and I thought, okay, maybe these are just prototypes or whatever. They're not the final things, but I was told that these are pretty much what they're going to be, and it's like, they're just, if you're gonna, there are expectations when, I mean, people rag about, how much high end costs and hi-fi stuff, high end hi-fi costs and stuff like that. Whatever. If you're going to pay that kind of money for something, and there are people who legit will want to pay that kind of money for something, that's why they're made. It it sets up expectations, and it better damn well feel like it's worth the money, not just
mhm,
sonically, but it has to feel like it's worth. That's a huge thing with me. It has to
yeah.
feel like it's worth that money, and it's like someone did not pay attention to the touch points on that equipment. It never the aesthetic design is like, but yeah, someone just did not pay attention to the fine points of that, and it really, it surprised me and it bothered me. So,
Okay. Like
yeah.
those TAD speakers that I know
Oh
you
my
like TAD.
gosh, yeah, I
Is it
love.
TAD or TAD or
It's TAD. It is
okay.
Technical Audio Design Laboratories, but TAD is what they go for.
Yeah.
Those are always phenomenal, and they had the same room as they had last year, and they have everything figured out in that room, how to get the best sound out of it, and this year was no exception. It sounded really really nice. Yeah,
I want to hear
yeah.
those.
Oh, they are nice. I think Piero's reviewing the little tiny bookshelves, the MET1TX, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, though there's a picture of it on the coverage thing, but the floor standers they had in there, those were I think the Grand Evolutions. I haven't had a chance to hear those very often before. They sounded really really nice in there, really really pretty, and I think those are like 40 grand for the pair or something like that for those towers. So yeah, very very nice, very
And
very
I'm just
nice.
scrolling through. I saw those Genelecs.
Those
Uh,
were those were probably, if I'm being brutally honest, those are probably like one of the best sounding things at the show. I
yeah.
mean, totally. I mean, Genelex, has pro
Studio
background,
monitors.
studio
Yeah.
monitors, and these things were done up with like a nice piano gloss finish for the home. And you can get other options too, but totally active. They have their own, correction system and stuff. You can tweak the response any which way from Sunday, and they just sounded like they were perfect. I mean, for me, from what I expect for that, and they sounded like they could. The bass was just went so low and was so powerful, and but everything was just clear, but not irritating at all. For me, it was like, this is yeah. I could have sat
Yeah.
there all day. It was awesome, and they
I've only
and they.
heard their tiniest studio monitors,
Mm-hmm.
and they're brutally expensive, but
Oh
they
yeah,
sound so good. And a lot of producers I know have Genelecs in their studio as,
well, they have them
I
for a
guess,
reason.
their mixed down monitors.
Yep.
Not for their, they need something bigger when they're just vibing, but like to
Mm-hmm.
finish a mix, they always use Genelecs. And yeah, I have nothing bad to say. They sound
Yeah.
awesome.
No, they're well known. Their reputation is well earned. And I love the look of these things too. I mean, there's just something funky about the four the four little mid-range drivers and the big kind of cyclops eye in the middle, and it's just like
Yeah.
it was very cool. It was very, very cool. And
Yeah. If you're going to go one way, go all the way that way.
oh, totally. Um, and yeah, actually, another cool thing was I got a chance to sort of sit and talk to the Meze, the founder, Antonio Meze. They make from is it Romania? I forget if it's Romania.
You love their headphones.
Their headphones are fantastic. They're beautiful. I mean, they sound great. They have a lovely, warm, rich sound to them. But I love the aesthetics of them too. And that was the other thing. Again, going back to the whole, if you're going to spend the money, something really needs to feel like it. And their headphones always, to me, I mean, the build quality is so good. They're intelligently designed. If something needs to be repaired, it can easily be any component. They were showing me. They demonstrated this in front of me. Any component can be easily disassembled and repaired and put back together without without issue.
Yeah.
Um, but just the quality of the materials, the feel of it, the comfort of them, they're like one of the best um, executors of headphones I think I've come across, and they have their own aesthetic style, and they had this um, sort of this little sort of it was by appointment only. You go in this they called it their innovation room, where I was invited in, and they basically pulled out all these drawers and showed like all these different iterations of design iterations and explorations they had done when they were developing a particular headphone. And it was really, I mean, there were like napkin sketches all over the place, thumbnails, big renderings, and then all the different um, some were 3D printed, some were like actual, hand forged metal or whatever of examples that they had gone through in order to finalize the design. So it was a really neat sort of kind of window into the whole behind the scenes development process. I couldn't take any pictures because they said
Mhm.
it's proprietary, but it was just really neat to see that someone takes that sort of time and that sort of attention to come up, to design something, that we wear on our heads, that it's personal audio for a reason, because it's like, we physically interact with it constantly. So it has to be really good. It has to be comfortable, and then it obviously has to sound good.
Mhm.
And these guys really take that seriously. So it was really a neat sort of behind the scenes sort of thing, and to kind of get into their development process. That was fun. That was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Man,
Oh,
yeah.
that subwoofer from Dali.
Ah, the Dali.
Yes.
That thing. Yeah, when I saw the press release for that, I was like, "What the heck is this?" But yeah, they were like throwing down with this thing. It's like a 16-inch driver. They that surround is like licensed from the company Purify that makes drivers, the really high end low distortion drivers with that surround. But that's the biggest surround I've ever seen with that weird kind of pattern to it.
Yeah.
Um, but it looks like a beast. It looks like a huge beast, and that they really they're really trying to make a statement with this thing. So they're very excited about it, and and I think
Yeah.
uh, and I think it's going to be fun to get in for a review at some point.
Yeah. I imagine you're getting that one in for
No,
sure.
no, I don't think so. I have too many other things. Craig's probably going to get. I'm guessing Craig's probably going to get this because he's
Yeah.
got the space for it and everything. But
Yeah. I don't think I'll fit that in my door here.
Yeah. Maybe if they make a smaller one, we probably want one. Yeah.
I think I'll wait till I move.
Go wait till I move.
Yeah, it's gonna have to happen sooner or later because right now it's a disaster here.
Too many things. Too many things.
There's 4 home theater systems in house here right
Good
now.
Lord.
Yeah, and I don't
Yep.
yeah, I don't know what to do. Just,
You
I
got
asked
it.
for it. I
You
did
got it
ask for it.
bad. You got it
Yeah,
bad.
no, I don't have it bad. It's good. It's
It's
a great thing.
Oh man, but yeah, that subwoofer was a nice surprise. So it'll be neat when we
Yeah,
finally get a review thing out of that and put it through its paces because it was pretty crazy looking.
I guess it's almost a competitor to the. Oh my god, do you hear that hammering?
Yeah, I do. What is that?
Yeah, it's something. Someone's hammering close by, and I can't. Can you just?
Yeah, I can hear that. It sounds almost like yeah, duh, duh, duh.
Yeah,
what's
it's
going
driving me
on?
nuts. Just
Okay,
but I guess I guess we're gonna deal with it. Just sorry everybody.
that's all right. That's all right.
I'm gonna mute the audio when I'm talking, like when I'm not talking, just to omit it. But I know. I guess the Dali sub is a direct competitor to the SVS
Yeah,
17 one. So
yeah, probably the PBC. Yeah, the new ones, the new 17-inch ones. Yeah, I mean, talking to them, it's like people know we make subwoofers, which is great, and but it's not something someone immediately thinks of when they think Dolly.
yeah,
They want to change that. So this is kind of like like I said, they're kind of line in the sand. It's like, okay, now we're getting serious. So we'll
yeah.
see.
Now that I've had a Dali system in, I'm a giant fan. Like,
Yeah,
it sounds really, really good.
yeah, yeah. These guys, they know their stuff. They really, really know their stuff, and they're impeccable designers. I mean, everything is just about everything except I think for their least expensive stuff is done in Denmark, um, and they have it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal, and they don't get near the attention they deserve. I mean, they're trying to change that. They're trying to really make a big play for the North American market, and I think it's starting to kind of get more attention. They're trying to get more attention here because I mean
Mhm.
they're known everywhere else, but here it's kind of like the sort of the last big kind of nut to crack in the North American market. So,
Yeah.
but I think they're going to do it. Definitely, definitely. Let's see what else was kind of cool.
Sorry, I have to adjust myself here a little bit.
No, don't worry about it.
No, I threw my back out. So, yeah,
That's not good.
yeah,
Oh,
it's not.
I'm trying to think
I
what
was
else.
I was in how do you say it? Uh, an unfamiliar bed. So sometimes that happens, and
I see. Okay.
it hurts a little bit. Yes.
All right. All right. Well, we'll just leave it at that, shall we?
Yeah,
We don't want to scare everybody away. No,
yeah.
yeah, I think Elac had they had these their new I think it's to celebrate their 90th birthday. I think it is 90th anniversary or 99th anniversary. Actually, they had
Oh
these
wow.
new Concentro tower speakers that have I mean very organic looking, but they had this center array of like an AMT tweeter in the middle and like 6 other drivers around it in a circle, kind of almost a lot of people would draw comparisons between what Monitor Audio did with the hyphens
Mm,
um, and this, and there may be something to that, although the execution is a little different. Um, but really nice sounding speakers, and they had in the setup they had them in. Uh, they sounded great. I thought. I mean, they're not cheap. Obviously, I think they're like it's, again $40,000-$50,000 for the pair. But they're their flagship speakers. So yeah, um, very neat, very very neat sounding.
yeah, you saw
Uh,
some really cool stuff. Oh, I have to ask,
yeah.
how are those Technics speakers?
Oh, the active Techniques ones, the SA.
Yeah.
As far as I know, nice. They didn't really have them on live demo. They were sort of static. Piero just reviewed them actually, and yeah, they're supposedly very very nice. for the size and stuff. Yeah, 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 yeah. I love the way they feel too, because the outside is almost like a suede kind of
Yeah.
on the outside, which is kind of a nice, nice change.
Hmm.
But yeah, very nice. Yeah, the display they had there was with the Lambo turntable actually, and
Yeah.
it was a nice little setup. It was very cool looking.
I missed that turntable.
I'll bet you do. That's sniff, 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 sniff. Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, oh, that crazy Aries Cerat system that was in there with like these ginormous. That company is just every time I see them anywhere, they just come with these huge statement. They're from Cyprus, and they just come with
Mm.
this huge statement system with these crazy speakers and like all this high end tube gear. I mean, this is again $1 million room sort of deal.
Yeah.
Um, but I think I was more impressed with the sort of the kind of swirly pearl finish that was on the speakers more than anything else. I mean, how they got that, I don't know, but it was very cool looking. Um, but otherwise, I mean, yeah, it's just another ginormous freaking system.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Was there any non-high end at the high end, or?
Yeah, there was definitely some. I mean, Luca Chesky was there with his like little Chesky audio speakers, and they seemed they got a lot of attention there, which was very good. Again, those were only like I think what $4.99 each or whatever, so
Yeah.
very affordable. Ever Solo was there with some of their streamers. They had like I think they launched a new DAC and they had their top end preamp streamer and a pair of their amps. I think it's $4,000 for the top end preamp streamer, and then each of the amps are like $2,500. So not ridiculous. But they were very nice, and of course they make more affordable stuff.
Yeah.
I think who was it? Mel? Was it Mel? Yeah, Mel reviewed. No. Excuse me. Yonki. Yonki reviewed like their. I think it's the 8, the AM the A8 streamer, and he loved it. And he said the interface was really user friendly and it sounded great and not ridiculously expensive. So yeah,
Okay.
that was nice. Um, let's see what else was cool. Yeah, this company from where is it? Slovakia called Canor. They had these this new preamp and DAC setup. I just loved the look of it. It just was really kind of neat. The knob in the middle of the preamp is like just round and it has a little display in the middle of it, tells you which input it's on. Um, I just thought the design was really cool, and I don't think they weren't meant to be very expensive either. Again, I think we're talking about 2,500 for the preamp and 2,500 for the DAC.
Yeah.
Let's see. A lot of high end stuff, a lot of expensive stuff. Let's see. The new audio research amps and preamp are kind of interesting. Don't know what to make of them yet. I mean, they sounded good at the show. They're trying to make a comeback since Acora Acoustics in your neck of the woods bought them. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. Acora makes I don't know if you're familiar with them, but their
Yeah.
their
We
main
talked about a lot.
the stock and trade the marble or granite shaped
Kitchen counter speakers. Yeah.
kitchen counter speakers, right? Well, they bought Audio Research, so now they're trying to come back and reintroduce them with some new solid state amps and stuff. So we'll see how that works.
Call me.
Yeah,
Call me.
yeah, we could. You're local, so that could be good. Trying to
I can't imagine what it'd be like getting marble speakers in for review.
maybe start with the bookshelves.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
even wouldn't those be like
I'm sure they'd be
80,
heavy.
100 pounds or something crazy?
I'm sure you'd have to watch your back.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. The Canton, those reference Alpha ones, those sounded beautiful. Those sounded really beautiful. Again, a pricey speaker, but they just sounded really, really nice. Let's see, the O Audio speakers from
Do you get to hear
Norway.
whatever you want to hear there, or is it just a set playlist of things?
Most of the times, it's a set playlist. Sometimes, if you're lucky, they'll let you, pick if they got streaming set up properly. A lot of times, they just have like a limited playlist because the network in these places is slightly sketchy, so they'll just have like a set playlist of stuff on like a hard drive or whatever. But occasionally, if the network's working properly, they'll let you pick.
Okay.
But yeah, the O audio speakers from Norway were really nice, like big horns and the big 15-inch driver. And they had these crazy subwoofers that are like this slot loaded things that were just massive looking, and yeah, they sounded pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think what else. Oh, the TX stuff. Always love the TX stuff. You know, they had the little 500 series stack there with some headphones. It sounded great. I mean, but you know. So I'm trying to think what else.
It's on my desk right now.
There you go.
It makes me very happy.
I'll bet. Yeah. I have their phono preamp, and I love it. I love listening to vinyl through that thing.
I'm dreading when they take it back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll bet. Me too, actually. The speakers from Silent Pound. Those guys are always they always sound good. They had their big sort of Challenger 2, which is the sort of tower versions of their speakers, but they also had this new stand mount one called the Bloom. I don't think I have pictures of it in the coverage. It's in the video though that I shot. But it's the Bloom is like basically about that big, but it's got like the interesting thing was it's on stand, but it's got like a coaxial driver, so like a tweeter, and then kind of like what T80 does, like a tweeter in the middle, and then the mid range around it. Yeah. But they found some way to jam two 12-inch bass drivers in there in a kind of V pattern. So it's open baffle, but they got it sandwiched in there. And it's like, I looked around, it's like, they're not joking around. They actually jammed. Oh, hold on one sec. Hey, but what's up? Oh, you're just laughing at me on the. when I'm ready for what? Okay. Never mind. That was my youngest for some reason. He was like laughing at me being watching us do the podcast or whatever. So
young haters, don't be ageist.
I think he just found it funny, and I think he couldn't stand there and laugh. He had to run away. Anyway, but yeah, they jammed these two 12-inch bass drivers in this thing, and so I'm really curious to get a review sample of these things or someone.
Of course, you're gonna get those.
Well, I can't. I have to say no because I've already jammed with stuff. It has to go to other people. But we'll see. You don't have enough space, so
not for those. But yeah. all of the smaller models of everything send over.
Okay, definitely keep that.
Although it did backfire because like SVS sent over their Nano,
and
I was really excited to get them, and then the center channel that came with it, because of course I didn't do any research when I said yes. The center channel is gigantic. It's bigger than the advanced pairs. It's just
That's
like, what is this?
Funny. Oh
so it's not really a small system. And it's still gigantic. There's no small matching center. I guess you could take a Nano and make that the center, but then you're kind of.
Well, that probably would work really well. You could always, I mean, that actually would be probably more ideal just to have like a third Nano, and that way it would be like seamless all the way around.
Yeah.
If it's not so tall that it obstructs your screen, but if that probably.
Well, I mean, I have the TV on a cookbook just to make room for the center channel. So
it could work.
One day I'll be able to mount my TV against the wall again. You know.
Oh yeah.
One day. But yeah, so still looking for a small center channel.
All right.
The Q Acoustics has one, so
it does. They do actually.
Yes,
they do.
So that is here. So.
Okay. Yeah. I think I didn't see everything at the show, but those were sort of the things that stuck out most. Probably the last thing that stuck out the most was I guess Onkyo and Klipsch had a room, and Onkyo's got their new sort of icon line of hi-fi separates. So I guess it's kind of a little throwback to some of their old style hi-fi stuff, but they have like Dirac built into the preamp and the integrated and stuff, and the amp has got VU meters in it and stuff. So it's, I mean, it's kind of a, like I said, it's kind of a throwback to sort of classic Japanese hi-fi. At least I think that's what they're going for. So it's interesting. Um, and for Klipsch, they had some of their active heritage speakers, but they also, have you heard of this guy? I don't, he's not, I guess he's influencer is not the right thing, but he's a guy named Devin Turnbull. He's got a brand called Ojazz or something like that. Well, anyway, he's got this brand, and nice enough guy, very cool. And I guess he partnered up with Klipsch, and they released this sort of I would say retro-ish kind of speaker with a horn in it and stuff that I don't know whether he helped voice or something like that, but that was kind of, it was limited edition, so it was kind of curious. It looks sort of industrial, but it's very kind of, it definitely looks like some sort of more hip kind of influencer kind of thing, or collaboration or whatever. So, but it was curious. I mean, it was interesting. It was a different take on stuff. So
I'm happy they're doing it.
Yeah, it's nice. As Klipsch is an old brand, so I mean, anything they can do to sort of, kind of.
But they have some cool, like new-ish sort of products too, right? Like
they do, yeah.
Was it the nines or something?
Oh yeah, the nines. Yeah. I think
those are a bit more future forward.
Yeah, actually, I think I just saw some marketing thing from them about like a Jurassic Park branded version of the nines or something. Yeah, I think I should actually. I think I got the email. I should send it to you. Yeah. But
send it. If it's got reptilian skin, that would be amazing.
Oh, I don't know that. Well, I don't know. I should probably look at it more. But yeah, it was just a branding collaboration or whatever. So
yeah, that's awesome. More of that, please.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. I like all that stuff.
But yeah, that was sort of the I mean, for me, the highlights of Munich. I mean, there were rooms that had like more ginormous and crazy stuff in it.
There is something because I saw it on, I think, your Instagram. That had nothing to do with the high-end show. You went to, was it BMW or Mercedes or?
Oh yeah. After the show, actually, Steve Jan, he met up with him, and we visited like a couple of the German brands that his company represents, AVM and Via Blue Cable. So which was were both fun visits. But before we went there, the guy who owns AVM, Udo Besser, he set up this this kind of little impromptu visit to Mercedes AMG, and so we were able to go, and we had a tour of Mercedes AMG.
Did you get to?
No. Didn't get to drive anything. Then they didn't trust us to do that, and what we could photograph and video was extremely limited. I mean, but we got to go on the assembly floor. We got to watch them. The whole. It's like one person from start to finish builds one engine, and we got to follow them, as they were doing different stages of assembly and testing and stuff, and it was all very cool. It was really, really cool.
That sounds awesome.
That was a lot of fun. But yeah, no chance to get behind the wheel of anything.
We should see if we can get Steve to give us I'm including myself in here, but like a car tour of some sort.
Wouldn't hurt to drop him an email and say, "Hey, man, what do you think you could swing here?"
So, yeah, it'd be kind of fun, and we could review the audio in the car.
We could, audio and automotive. There's a synergy there, so it could apply. It could definitely apply. Yeah,
it could be a thing.
Could be. It could be. But yeah, that was fun. And
I'm obsessed with cars, but I don't know anything about them, so it'd be stupid for me.
Yeah, I love cars.
I like the aesthetics and good cup holder placement.
But I wouldn't trust me behind the wheel on a track. No, not even close.
I don't ever want to go on a track. It's just,
no interest in that.
Unless there's like a guy teaching me or just showing me what it's like being in the car. Yeah. I would like to learn. Sorry, every car guy watching. I would like to learn how to drive manual at some point.
I would too, because I never learned how to drive manual. I never learned.
Yeah, so I'd like to. So meet Steve. we're going to send this to you, Steve. Teach us how to drive manual. That would be really funny. But then also, I would love to learn how to drift a car.
For that, you'd need a track. Yeah.
Because I did see via another, I think it was the Straight Pipes from Canada. They went to a Mercedes event in the wintertime where it's all snow, and they were able to drift Mercedes on snow. So, you know, and I don't want to bet do like Fast and the Furious drift, just a subtle, just to say
what
does it look like? Yeah,
what does it feel like to drift a car?
Yeah, because I imagine manual is better. I think.
I suppose. Although I will say this. While I was in Germany, I was driving with Michael Trey, who does some writing for Stereophile and I think another outlet. But he's lived in Germany before, and he's driven there, so he's very familiar. We were on the Autobahn in a diesel BMW that he had rented, and there are unrestricted zones on the Autobahn, obviously. So we hit a couple of those when we were driving between Munich and to the other place we were visiting, and he stomped on it, and we had a car going up to like about almost 150 miles an hour, and it was like being in the passenger seat. It was like,
that's awesome.
It was wild, but I was so thankful that he didn't have. It was an automatic, that it wasn't the standard, because if he was standard and he was shifting and my head was going like boom, 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 I would have probably just like puked all over the. all over the dash and the windshield and everything.
But if it's us, like none of us are going to be doing over like 80 because we'd be terrified.
So. No. But I have been in a situation where I was in the passenger seat of a Porsche and someone was driving it, and they stomped on it, and we were like in the back roads of Ohio, and I was like, I got so sick. I didn't puke in his car, but we had to pull over because I was like, I was so motion sick, I almost passed out. It was kind of nuts. So,
yeah, my dad used to drive like that. Like he would, but he didn't drive an automatic. He just drove a stand. Oh no, he didn't drive a standard. Drove an automatic, but he would pump the gas. So you just like always like this. Yeah, and you're just like, can you stop doing that? Just hold your foot in one position.
Can you please not do that? Yeah, no, I freely admit I'm built to appreciate cars visually. I am not built to be whipping them around a track or like do crazy things with them. So,
but I'd like to try. Yeah. Like
yeah.
I'm not like I'd like to try a track, but maybe not like try to break a speed record. Just hey, what's it like?
Yeah,
hey, what's it like if I'm
I'll happily putter around a track just to see if it's, but I'm not going to be like, stomp on it.
I don't need to have my point. I don't need to have my manhood proven via speed.
No.
But I'd like to just try it,
Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that.
And I'd like to learn how to drive manual, especially in Canada, because cars get stolen here all the time. Just all the time. It's like I think we're the #1 car theft capital.
Really?
Because of our, sorry everyone, for our lack of putting people in jail policy, and then also unrestricted immigration to the country. People just steal your shit, and then they drive up the 407 and just take off, and just like your car's gone. Like, and so, So apparently, having a standard car, even if they break into your car, I'll just have to probably pay for the windshield, because they're not going to steal your standard car. They just look at it like,
what is this? I can't move this.
Yeah, what is this garbage? Plus, I have been venturing down the rabbit hole of, I follow some car channels, but like the aesthetics of an older car are really nice. And all the new cars have these double wide screens, and you know how much I dislike bright screens.
Yeah.
And I just want a car to drive, and then if I want to slap a head unit in that just has my CarPlay, because that's all I really want. I just want CarPlay. I don't want end of year functionality. I'd like to own an old car, but I don't know any mechanics, and
I'm with you. I hate I'm really hating this proliferation of screens in cars, like the full length screen is showing up. I
Yeah,
want gauges. I want
yeah.
traditional gauges, and
I want
I
to
don't I
tack.
don't I
Yeah,
attack. I don't mind a small screen. I whatever, fine. But I just dislike this whole just this ocean of a screen. It's like no, no, not into that. Not into that at all.
I
And
did.
yeah,
I remember I had I think a 2012 Mini Cooper,
hmm
and I loved it because there was no screen. It was just
yeah,
this old crappy Mini,
yeah.
and I would still be driving it if it didn't go up in flames. But
We bought a used 2015 BMW.
oh,
I think an X1, so it's like
mm,
a little pocket rocket. Uh, Great little car. It's still got regular gauges in it. We know the one screen on the side. This is before CarPlay, so it doesn't even have CarPlay. It's got BMW's own whatever that works whenever it wants to.
yeah,
But I love it, and it's just I love the gauges, and I love the fact that it's like this feels like an analog car. You
yeah.
know,
When did you
uh,
get it?
what's that?
When did you get it? Like,
Oh, this was maybe about 2 years ago. Yeah,
oh, that's awesome. How many
yeah.
kilometers did it have on it?
Oh, let's see, when we bought it, we knew the previous owner. So when we bought it, it had like maybe was it 80,000 miles on it or 75,000 miles? So it had a
That's
bit of a
awesome.
yeah. But now it's got like over 110. So
Yeah,
but it's a straight six with a turbo, and it's got some stones to it. It loves it. My wife loves it, so like it's basically her car. She drives it everywhere. I'll get a chance to drive it once in a while. But
yeah. I want like an older 2 Series or even a 1 Series if I could find one.
yeah,
I love the smaller cars. You know,
because the new BMWs, I don't know what they've
they're
been
so they
smoking,
look
but
like the Chipmunks.
they look like
They're so
just
ugly.
yeah. I don't even I can't even they look like digital pigs or something. It's weird. They just it's just no beauty to them at all. They're gross looking. It
Yeah, they make me
really
sad.
yeah
They make me
yeah.
really sad.
It's the same sort of feeling when I saw that Jaguar concept, that weird pink blue Jaguar concept. That was like
Yeah,
no no and and and,
but it
and,
seems like
and
every manufacturer is going ugly, and I don't
yeah
know why.
yeah
Because for a while it was just all the electric cars that were coming out were just ugly, and
yeah.
then all the new cars. I don't know what's happening, but um, it
I
would be
don't
cool if they just took an old car, like taken like a 1990 BMW 5 Series,
know.
and then just make that electric. It'd be so much easier. It looks pretty already, you know.
Right, I know. Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need that part's already been taken care of. So it's like you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. It's like BMW goes through this weird phase, and I don't mean to be picking on them specifically, but in this case,
but
it's
it is brutal ugly. Yeah,
yeah, they go through this phase where they have like this stretches of beautiful cars, and then these weird little stretches of like just butt ugly cars, and then someone realizes, oh my gosh, we've made these butt ugly cars. Let's go back to making beautiful cars, and it's just like a weird little cycle that repeats.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
But they've gone really far. Like, have you seen
yeah,
that
they're
new 7 Series they made? It's like, what is
oh
that? It's the
oh,
ugliest thing I've ever seen.
it's gross. It is really gross. Yeah,
But I think the big difference now is the fact that their 3 Series currently is the size of their old 7 Series.
I
It's
know,
so
and
big.
the prices too. I mean, they're just. I mean, the 3 Series used to be like you're at least relatively approachable and small. I mean, that was the whole point
Yeah,
about it. It was like this small, you know, performance. Like it hit the sweet spots of a lot of
yeah.
things, and now it's just kind of like yeah, it turned into this giant, overblown. Ugh, yeah, yeah. I don't know
And
what the
I
hell
get it.
those
It's
guys are
got like
doing.
400 horsepower, but just give me 190 and make it smaller. You know, like,
Please,
why does it?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what am I going to do with, like, as a daily driver? What am I going to do with 400 horsepower? Like, what?
I know, but obviously these cars have gotten bigger and they've gotten heavier, and it's kind of like we don't need all that. We really
Yeah,
don't. I mean, and it just to me just sort of takes the fun out of being, and not like I'm some high performance driver or anything, but I mean, it's one thing to drive. You can feel a difference in daily driving of driving just like a nicely put together car that's not overly heavy but that feels good versus something that's like big, heavy, solid. I mean, if you want something like that, buy an SUV or whatever, or buy something else, and not
yeah.
not like a BMW 3 Series or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, my car is really small and cheap, but like, I would love to have like a Mazda Miata. Looks pretty dope. Like,
Oh
I
yeah.
would totally get one of those. There's an older lady in my building that has one. And
Hmm.
she's a chain smoking old lady, and she drives a Mazda Miata. And every time I see her, I'm like, "That's the best car ever."
You could probably find some decent used ones or whatever. I mean, they made tons of them. So I mean,
Yeah, I have kids though, so I mean,
well, yeah, I
that would
know.
have to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
my second car.
yeah. You're right. You're right. You're right. That's right.
You
You
know,
do have the kids. Yeah, yeah,
it's,
yeah.
yeah. So like, but I am looking at like an old GTI, maybe like the last generation, the
Yeah,
7.5. I'd probably
yeah.
get that,
Hmm.
and if I could find one manual, that'd be amazing. And then learn how to drive manual. Uh,
I would learn first on someone's beater car before you before you try to learn on yours, because you might be working that clutch a little bit and cut and like
oh,
grinding some gears.
even if
So
I learned, I'd probably screw that car up really fast. But
well,
or just be
still
sitting in traffic stalled. And be like, I don't know what to do.
that would totally be me. Yeah, 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 yeah. That would totally be me. I wish I learned how to drive manual, but it never the opportunity never presented
My
itself.
friend
So.
Nat, she only ever drove manual up until recently, and
Hmm.
and so I could probably bug her and be like, "Hey, can you teach me how to drive this car I just bought?"
Yeah, yeah, but the thing is, there used to be a distinct advantage over automatics I mean manuals versus automatics. I mean, um, automatics used to suck up power and
Now
and
they're just
shift
better.
slowly. Yeah, they're just more efficient now. I mean,
Yeah,
any sort of difference is kind of like not there anymore. So,
yeah.
you know,
It'd be more for like a. I think it's cheaper, and
hmm
then B, just like my car won't get stolen, and then
right, is that.
C, of with my short attention span or my ADHD, of just like it'll give me something to do
Oh my God, that's funny.
versus getting lost in thought on the highway or
Yeah.
it's traffic. It's just like I have to always be engaged in like what I'm doing.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, well, you know what? I'm looking at the clock, and I think we should probably wrap this up because I have to
Yeah.
go somewhere with the family soon. My wife's home, and we
Oh,
have
good.
something else we got to take care of. But
Cool.
ah, this has been good. This has
All
been very
right.
good, sir. I'm gonna tell you, I'm coming up to Toronto later this month, so I'm gonna be up like from the 25th to the 29th visiting family. So might be cool if we
Cool.
can get together. I'm going
Do you
to.
want to do you want to do one of these in live?
We could. I'm trying to. I need to contact Paradigm because I want to see about visiting them maybe while I'm there, and it might be fun if both of us could do it at the same time, and we can like do a
Yeah.
little something while we're there. Maybe that might be kind of fun. I need to talk to them still, but let's see if we can. Let me see if I can set that up if it's not too much short notice for them. But
Okay.
yeah, yeah,
That'd be
that
kind of
would that
fun.
would be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And if maybe we could do a
Yeah,
you know
I'd be game for that.
yeah
Why not? I'll have a car. We could do it.
baller.
Absolutely.
All
You
right.
got it. Ah.
Cool. Well, this is Sorta Hi-Fi. Carlo Taps. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, everyone. It's always a pleasure.